I'm Emily Blunt.
I'm Meryl Streep.
I'm Hathaway.
I'm Stanley Tucci.
And this is 60 Minutes.
We don't have a group chat, though.
We should.
Well, we can
I have
start
too
one
many
today.
group chats with my kids. Yeah. It's like, oh.
So you're rejecting our offer of a group chat?
Yeah, I am.
You have a favourite quote from the first film that you just love?
I love it when Miranda says, "Why is no one ready?" But it's her reading of it as well. And I also love it when she just goes, "Go," to the driver at the end. It's so simple. It's usually hers that I love.
Hideous skirt convention. I can't say it without laughing still.
The Devil Wears Prada is making a huge comeback nearly 20 years later, and a lot has changed behind the scenes for its famous cast. Now, fans are taking a fresh look at who these stars are sharing their lives with today.
First, I'm going to thank Don, and I want him to know that everything I value most in our lives, you've given me.
Meryl Streep, the legendary actress behind Miranda Priestly, is currently single after the end of her 45-year marriage. For years, Meryl Streep and Don Gummer seemed like one of Hollywood's most solid couples. That's why many people were shocked when it was revealed in 2023 that they had actually been separated for more than 6 years. The news completely changed how many viewed their relationship. How did the man who once helped Meryl through a heartbreaking loss become part of a marriage that later ended so quietly? The story starts in 1978 during one of the toughest moments of Meryl's life. She was grieving the loss of actor John Cazale, whom she had loved for 2 years before he passed away from lung cancer that March.
He was accommodating to an understanding of my work,
process.
and I was understanding of him.
At just 29 years old, she was devastated and trying to rebuild her life. During that difficult time, her brother helped her move and brought along sculptor Don Gummer, a friend she knew but had never looked at in a romantic way before. While Don was traveling overseas, Meryl stayed in his Soho apartment. Don's trip ended early, and when he returned, everything changed fast. Just 6 months later, in September 1978, he and Meryl got married in the garden of her parents' home. That timeline still catches people off guard, partly because it moved so quickly and partly because it came after such a painful loss. But maybe that's exactly why it happened. Love doesn't always show up at the perfect moment. Sometimes it appears when someone helps you keep moving forward. Don Gummer wasn't a movie star. He was a sculptor, quiet, private, and far removed from Hollywood drama, which may have been exactly what Meryl needed. For years, their marriage looked like one of those rare Hollywood success stories. Together, they raised 4 children, Henry, Mamie, Grace, and Louisa, while keeping family life mostly out of the spotlight. Even as Meryl became one of the biggest stars in the world, Dawn remained a calm and steady presence by her side.
In drama school, they would say to us, do you know how to convey that you're the king or you're the queen? Everybody would say, well, you project power. And the teacher said, no. The way you convey power is how everyone else in the room behaves when you enter it. You just act naturally. You just behave.
Every so often, Meryl gave fans a glimpse of how much he meant to her. One memorable moment came at the 2012 Oscars when she won Best Actress for The Iron Lady. And it sounded genuine, which is probably why so many people believed in their relationship for decades. That's also why the next chapter came as such a surprise. In October 2023, shortly after what would have been their 45th wedding anniversary, a representative for Meryl Streep confirmed to people that she and Don Gummer had actually been living separate lives for more than 6 years. The statement said they would always care for each other, but had chosen to move forward apart. Suddenly, the story felt less like a Hollywood fairy tale and more like real life. Don wasn't just Meryl's husband. He was the person who entered her life after a heartbreaking loss, helped her build a family, and shared more than 4 decades by her side. Yet somewhere along the way, they quietly grew apart without the public knowing. There was no dramatic split, no explosive interview, and no tabloid showdown.
It was really tough, and nobody really knew.
Instead, they handled it privately, leaving many people surprised when the truth finally came out. Their relationship remained meaningful, but it had changed long before the world realized it. As for Anne Hathaway, the actress behind Andy Sachs, she has been happily married to Adam Schulman for 14 years.
There's a moment in the trailer where Miranda sees Andy and says, basically, who is this, right? What is that about?
We laughed so hard at doing that scene that I did that thing where like you start laughing and you can't stop.
Yeah.
And like everybody's waiting to go to lunch and they can't go to lunch until you stop laughing, and so somehow you can't stop
And
laughing.
actually finish the scene.
That happened.
Yeah. I mean, I think the thing is, what's beautiful about Meryl's performance is that you're not really sure if she does remember or doesn't remember.
Absolutely.
And so it'll be up to the audience to decide for themselves.
I love
When Anne met Adam at the 2008 Palm Springs Festival, she reportedly told a mutual friend, "I'm going to marry that man." At the time, however, she was still in another relationship. Just months later, that chapter of her life came to a difficult end. In June 2008, Anne Hathaway and her boyfriend of 4 years, Raffaello Folieri, reportedly had their final phone call before the Italian real estate developer was arrested. The case made headlines around the world when Folieri pleaded guilty to multiple charges, including wire fraud, money laundering, and conspiracy. He was later sentenced to more than 4 years in prison. The fallout was especially difficult for Anne Hathaway, who learned the news just before leaving for a press tour in Mexico. "It's a situation where the rug was pulled out from under me all of a sudden," Anne later admitted. After everything that happened, she was ready to give up on dating altogether, but her connection with Adam Schulman was impossible to ignore.
It's kind of all on the line now. Like I'm his and he's mine, so we're oh God, stop it.
No, you're killing it.
When they started dating a few months later, Anne was honest about what she was going through. "I knew from the second I met him that he was the love of my life. I also knew that I couldn't have met him at a worse time," she told Harper's Bazaar.
Who is this?
This was, in many ways the biggest thing that I'd ever been a part of. And you've heard me say this and I don't want to embarrass you, but I was acting opposite,
Don't say that.
Okay, I won't go there. I was acting opposite somebody from New Jersey and I was really excited about that. So
Yeah, we're Jersey.
we're Jersey girls.
Yeah.
Despite the timing, Anne decided to take a chance on love, and that decision changed her life. Their relationship also opened an unexpected door for Adam. While visiting the set of Alice in Wonderland, he met jewelry designer Heidi Nasser Fink, who quickly noticed his natural talent for design. They eventually became business partners and now co-own James Banks Design, a jewelry company named after Adam's grandfather. That passion for jewelry would later play a major role when it came time for Adam to propose to Anne. When it came time to propose, Adam made the moment even more personal by designing Anne's engagement ring himself. He worked with a diamond jewelry company to make sure every detail was exactly right. The plan worked perfectly, and Anne said yes. The couple married in September 2012. They didn't settle for just a wedding day. They turned it into a full wedding weekend. More than 150 guests attended, surrounded by nature-inspired decorations that reflected the couple's style and personality. Their partnership grew beyond their personal lives and into their careers as well.
And I just remember I was wearing Louis Vuitton and
outfit, too.
Patricia Field had put me in these lovely gloves.
Oh, that's a
and
lacy
I was
gloves.
wearing my own Prada shoes. In a film, the budget doesn't quite stretch, and so you provide some of your own favorite accessories.
In 2014, Hathaway and Schulman teamed up to co-produce their first film together, Song 1. Then came even more exciting news. In 2016, Anne announced that they were expecting their first child. A short time later, they welcomed their son, Jonathan. Asked about Adam as a father, Anne proudly said, "As was to be expected, he is spectacular." About a year later, Anne shared how much Adam's support had helped her move forward from past heartbreak. "I need my husband. His unique and specific love has changed me," she explained. With their family thriving, it was only natural that the couple began thinking about welcoming another child. In 2019, Anne Hathaway revealed that she was expecting her second child. Sharing a photo of her baby bump on Instagram, she wrote, "It's not for a movie number 2. In the same post, Anne also showed support for people facing fertility and conception challenges, explaining that her own path to motherhood had not been simple. A few months later, Anne and Adam surprised fans when they were spotted carrying a newborn, confirming that their second son, Jack, had arrived. Today, their family remains happy and strong. Alongside running his jewelry business, Adam has continued working as a film producer, while Anne has spoken about finding renewed confidence and a healthier perspective on both life and her career. Their relationship has clearly had a major impact on both of them, and Anne isn't the only The Devil Wears Prada star enjoying a lasting marriage.
I am going to share this completely with my husband, John Krasinski, who, because the entire experience of doing this with you has completely pierced my heart directly.
Emily Blunt has been happily married to actor and filmmaker John Krasinski for 16 years. Like Anne and Adam, they also support each other professionally and occasionally collaborate on creative projects. John and Emily first met through a mutual friend at a restaurant in Los Angeles.
It's like kind of a sad, lame story, you know. Not sad, but it's just kind of lame. I mean, I was in a restaurant. He was in the restaurant. Yeah. I was sitting with a mutual friend. This is our romantic comedy. This is it. Write it.
And then on our first date, I decided I'm gonna really hit the gas and bring her to a gun range.
Looking back on the moment during a 2018 interview, Emily joked, "It's like kind of a sad, lame story." But for John, the memory was a lot more exciting. The Office star later revealed that it was basically love at first sight for him. Even though John Krasinski wasn't actively looking for a relationship and planned to take things slow in Los Angeles, everything changed when he met Emily Blunt. The connection was immediate. John later recalled, "Then I met her, and I was so nervous. I was like, oh God, I think I'm gonna fall in love with her. As I shook her hand, I went, I like you."
But no, I shook her hand, and to be honest, I knew right then and there that I felt everything I needed to feel for her.
It's one of those things where as soon as you meet someone, you kind of know. Emily and John have slightly different versions of who actually arranged their first date. But one thing is certain, they hit it off right away. Their first date reportedly involved sharing a pizza at John's apartment, a surprisingly simple choice that clearly did the trick. Despite fans' curiosity, Emily has always preferred to keep those early memories private. As she put it, "It's so precious. I don't want to talk about it." That same privacy has followed them throughout their relationship. Even details about John's proposal remain mostly under wraps, though he has shared just how emotional the moment became.
Well, Emily had a lot of fun, and Annie
had a lot of fun, and Stanley had a lot of fun.
The first movie was disastrous every day. I kept a journal, and I remember.
Really?
Yes, every day was a disaster. And I kept a journal, and on this movie, on day 4, I said, let me just see what day 4 was like on the 20 years ago. And it says, you know, Thursday. It's hard to imagine a day could go worse than this.
Stop! Really?
Yes.
But you never let us know that.
She did cry after I cried, and we cried, and then everyone around us was crying, he joked. Then I think people weren't really sure what was going on, but they were crying because we were crying. But it was great. At the end of the day, she said yes, which is great. Less than a year after getting engaged, the couple married in a beautiful outdoor ceremony at George Clooney's estate in Italy. Their partnership has also become a major success on screen. Emily's performance in A Quiet Place earned her a Screen Actors Guild Award in 2019, and during her emotional acceptance speech, she made sure to celebrate her husband, director, and co-star as well. Beyond their careers, Emily Blunt and John Krasinski are also focused on raising their family together. The couple welcomed their first daughter, Hazel, in 2014, followed later by their second daughter, Violet. Emily has often spoken about the special bond John shares with their children. In one interview, she joked, "They may like John even more than me, which is slightly upsetting at times." She added that when she asks her younger daughter, "Who's your best friend?" the answer is often, "Daddy." So how do they keep their marriage strong while balancing parenting and busy careers? According to John, making time for each other is essential. He has said that a weekly date night is a priority, no matter how hectic life gets, and their date nights are surprisingly simple. Instead of grand Hollywood outings, they usually just go out for dinner and spend time talking together. John has also praised Emily for balancing motherhood with a demanding career. He admits that finding the right balance isn't always easy, but he remains grateful for her support as they continue navigating parenthood as a team. Emily Blunt and John Krasinski seem like the perfect match, but here's a surprising twist that many fans don't know. The Devil Wears Prada didn't just create friendships, it eventually turned Emily Blunt and Stanley Tucci into family.
What's your advice for dealing with an overbearing boss, like your wife, Felicity Blunt? How do you deal with this overbearing boss?
Overbearing, quit.
Quit.
Just quit.
Surrender.
Yeah.
And drink.
Say goodbye. Have a drink and say goodbye.
That's it.
The first movie was made a year before the iPhone came out. It's another world entirely. Anyone else want to weigh in?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
What started as a connection between co-stars after the 2006 film grew into something much closer when Stanley married Emily's sister, Felicity, 6 years later. Stanley and Felicity's relationship is also a story shaped by love, loss, and second chances.
You know, we realized we love food. We both love food. I met her at her sister's wedding, and we started dating when we started working in London. And then when I would come to visit her, we'd always go out to restaurants and we would cook together.
And we started eating out together a lot. And then she came and stayed with me in America, and we started cooking together, and it's great.
When Stanley first met Emily, he was married to his first wife, Kate, and their family was facing a very difficult period. Around the time filming for The Devil Wears Prada began, Kate had been diagnosed with breast cancer. She underwent treatment while Stanley worked on the film and later joined him at the movie's premiere. It was there that Stanley and Kate met Emily Blunt and her sister Felicity. Stanley later recalled, "That's where I met Emily, and we became friends. And actually, Felicity, Emily's sister, met my wife." He added, "She and Kate talked at the premiere that night, and I have a photo of them together." Sadly, Kate passed away in 2009. Reflecting on that painful loss years later, Stanley shared, "We tried everything we could do to save her. I wish that I could have done more." Stanley Tucci and Felicity Blunt reconnected in 2010 at Emily Blunt and John Krasinski's wedding, about a year after the loss of Stanley's first wife. During that weekend, they discovered they had plenty in common, and a new connection quickly began to grow.
You never stop breathing. And it's still hard after 11 years. It's still hard. And it will always be hard. But you can't let it, and she would never want any of us to wallow in that grief and let it take over our lives. She would never want that. She wasn't like that.
Felicity had already built a successful career in publishing. Since 2005, she had worked as a literary agent at Curtis Brown, representing authors and helping bring new stories to readers. Speaking about her approach to books, she once explained, "My fiction tastes are broad, but are unified by my desire to represent unique stories and smart voices." Felicity also made a memorable impression on Stanley because of her enthusiasm for food. He reportedly joked that he had never seen someone so slim enjoy meals with such excitement. As they spent more time together, conversations about food became one of the things that brought them closer. They later met again in London, where Stanley was working. Their first meal together wasn't at a particularly famous restaurant, but they enjoyed each other's company so much that it hardly mattered. Another dinner stretched into a 4-hour event, and by the end, Stanley was completely full. Felicity, however, still wanted to see the cheese cart. Stanley remembered thinking, "That's incredible." That same restaurant would later become the location of their wedding reception, marking an unexpected full-circle moment in their story. What started with a few dinners and conversations about food gradually turned into something much deeper. As their relationship grew, Stanley Tucci realized he wanted a future with Felicity Blunt and proposed during a trip to Berlin in November 2011. But even after taking that step, Stanley admitted he struggled with complicated emotions. "I panicked instantly afterwards," he recalled. "It was very hard to go on vacations at first. Really hard to go with Felicity someplace. I felt guilty. It's horrible." After losing his first wife, Kate, moving forward was not easy, and he later acknowledged that letting go of the past took time. Still, he believed she would have wanted him to find happiness again. Thankfully, Stanley didn't allow those fears to stop him from embracing a new chapter. In August 2012, he and Felicity confirmed they had quietly married. Later that year, they celebrated with a formal wedding at London's Middle Temple Hall, with Emily Blunt serving as a bridesmaid. Today, Stanley often speaks warmly about Felicity's role in their family. She cares for the kids as if they are her own, he said, praising the commitment and care she brought into their lives. A few years after getting married, Stanley Tucci and Felicity Blunt expanded their family and welcomed children of their own. When the coronavirus pandemic began, Stanley reflected on spending that time at home with his family and expressed deep gratitude for what they had. As he put it, "We can't help but think how lucky we are to have one another, a roof over our heads, food in our bellies." That appreciation for life comes from more than just optimism. Years after losing his first wife to cancer, Stanley faced a serious health battle himself. About 8 years ago, he began experiencing intense pain in his jaw that eventually became impossible to ignore. A doctor in London discovered a large tumor at the base of his tongue, leading to an aggressive treatment plan. It was too big to operate, so they had to do high-dose radiation and chemo, Stanley explained. The treatment was extremely difficult, especially given his memories of watching his first wife go through similar procedures.
It's really sad, but things are getting better. The vaccination is being rolled out brilliantly.
The side effects were severe. He developed painful mouth ulcers, struggled with eating and drinking, required strong pain medication, and relied on a feeding tube for 6 months while fighting to recover. According to Stanley, the unwavering support of Felicity and the kids was his greatest anchor during that dark time.
It was bad. It was much worse than I thought. The cancer had not metastasized, which was a good thing, but the tumor was so large it was inoperable, so they had to do high-dose radiation, which destroys your taste buds, your saliva, your everything.
Fortunately, medical professionals managed to save his tongue, and regular visits from his close friend and fellow actor, Colin Firth, provided a massive emotional boost. Today, Tucci is optimistic, noting that the chances of the cancer returning are very slim. Reflecting on the experience, he shared, "Cancer makes you more afraid and less afraid at the same time. I feel much older than I did before I was sick, but you still want to get ahead and get things done." Beating the illness brought a profound realization. Food wasn't merely a hobby for Tucci. It was the very core of his existence, offering both sustenance and pure joy. This deep-rooted passion is on full display across Stanley's Instagram feed, which is brimming with delightful clips of the couple teaming up in the kitchen, mixing drinks, and whipping up incredible dishes together. The dynamic duo also invited fans deeper into their culinary world through a co-authored cookbook. More than just a collection of updated recipes and perfect wine pairings, the book is woven with vibrant photography and treasured family memories meant for future generations of Italian food enthusiasts. Through every high and low, this resilient couple has proven that they know exactly how to cherish the time they have together. Stanley and Felicity's journey is a beautiful reminder that love, resilience, and a shared passion can help us weather life's toughest storms. It inspires us all to slow down, appreciate our loved ones, and savor every single moment. Enjoyed this story? If you want to see more inspiring celebrity deep dives like this, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. Also, leave a comment below letting us know your absolute favorite Stanley Tucci movie or your own ultimate comfort food recipe. We'd love to read your thoughts.